Hey everyone, I'm Brian with WorkshopAddict.com. Today we're going to take a look at Makita's new 18-volt LXT Sub-Compact Brushless 3/8" impact wrench. This came in a kit with 2 compact batteries, a bag, and a charger. It's model number XWT12RB. I want to thank Acme Tools for loaning this tool out to me so I could beat it up for you guys and let you know what we think about this tool in case you're interested in this or any of the other tools that we have out here. Makita brought this tool to market so that you could have a very small tool, fit in tight places, but still stay in their 18-volt platform. Now they're doing a lot of different things with that 18-volt battery, such as adding 2 of them to different size tools, so you can get into larger tools or go down to these smaller compact ones with the compact battery. Now let's go over some quick specs, because this is a 2-mode impact wrench. They call it a hard impact at 2400 RPM, 3600 IPM with a 130 foot-pound rating. Soft impact mode, which is going to be your low mode, 1300 RPM, 2000 IPM, and it weighs 2.7 pounds with the battery and has a 3-year warranty. Now when you pick this tool up, you definitely know that it is a smaller tool, and if you have larger hands, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that you will notice the forward and reverse button. When I'm getting into tight places in cars and messing around with this, I will actually push that into reverse if I have it in forward. It's just something of where it sits, and I don't find it with any of the other tools up here. If I had to use this tool every day, I would take a file and file this down because I feel it is too long. You could probably take a solid 1/8 inch off that and it would be a lot more comfortable. But with that said, what I wanted to do was compare this in size to some of the other impacts that we have that are in the same category. So first we have the Milwaukee 2754-20. This tool is a 210 foot-pound unit. It has 3 different modes, and it is not much difference in size. Slightly longer. I don't know how much that really matters in a 3/8 inch impact wrench, but it depends on what you're going to use it for. For me in a car, I'm going to say no, because I don't really get into the 3/8 inch impact wrench size. It's right in between 1/2 and 1/4, and you can do a lot more with other tools. So if you really want to get into a tight place, here's a pneumatic, and here's why mechanics will not get away from pneumatics. When you put this Proto in front, you can see how much shorter it is and how much tighter places you can get into. And we were working on removing some fenders on this Jeep next to us, and we were not able to get this guy in the back to remove the fenders from the tub. Guess who came to the rescue? No issue. But with that said, we had the Ingersoll Rand 12 volt. This is a very comparable size. The Ingersoll Rand is a IRW 1130. It's slightly longer again, not by much, but it is a bit shorter, and you would expect it out of a 12 volt size. The battery is a lot smaller. So when you look at these, very comparable, but a lot less power here. You go to the Milwaukee M12. This is a 2454-20. Significantly longer, especially when you straighten this out. But when you use the small batteries, all you have to deal with is the top. This bottom half doesn't have anything else on it to get in the way while you're using it. So the first test that we wanted to do with all these is say, what is the power on them? How do these compare to the Makita? Basically, we all know that Milwaukee's claiming 210 foot-pounds, so this one should really rock. The rest of them are 130 or below, with the Ingersoll Rand being the lowest at 100. So I went to the F350. We torqued these lugs at 165 foot-pounds probably about 3 months ago. Said, hey, there's probably only going to be one tool that's going to take the lug nuts off, and that's going to be this Milwaukee. We started out with the Makita, and to our surprise, pulled the first one off, no issue. Moved over to the Milwaukee M18. It again pulled it off. You can tell the difference in power between the two. No doubt the Milwaukee's got more power, but they still did the same job. Moved down to the M12 Milwaukee, and this is a 117 foot-pound rating. I did not think it was going to do it, but it did. It struggled a bit, but it still pulled that lug nut off. We moved down to the Ingersoll Rand. I use this a lot on our side-by-sides because you can get into different areas with it. The battery doesn't get in the way. And I have a 1/4 inch model. I stick with 1/2 inch impacts, and then I go to 1/4 inch impacts. There's no reason for me to get too much in between. just due to size, I guess. This tool would not do it. We moved it around to all the different ones, and it doesn't surprise me. It's a smaller tool, 100 foot-pound rating, just not there. That test right there said a lot to me. 165 foot-pounds coming off. It was impressive to see this tool do it. It was also impressive to see the Milwaukee M12 do it. I never thought that would. But with a 130 foot-pound rating, I know that we're removing a fastener. That takes less torque or less rating. Either way, impressive. So what I wanted to do from there was just use the tool and see how comfortable I could get taking a fender off the Jeep, something I would normally do with a 1/4-inch impact or a ratchet, most likely hand tools half the time because you're going to get in tight places. I started using it, and that's where I really got caught with the forward and reverse button, hitting my hand, going back and forth. I couldn't fit it into all the places. I was finding that some bolts it was doing really well on, and other bolts it would struggle with. I switched back and forth between the hard and soft, and I think that has a very good balance, especially if you're putting something back in that's smaller. Makita does have a reverse rotation auto stop. So as you pull a bolt out, as soon as it feels that it's freewheeling, it will stop. And that's very nice. I like that, especially when you're working with undercoating or anything else that the bolt's going to stick inside your socket. You're able to pull the bolt off and remove that bolt by hand. That's an awesome feature that I wish other companies would come out with, because I'd use that a lot. In some cases it gets in the way, you just pull the trigger a couple times and it'll allow you to remove the fastener, but most of the time it would be something that I would use, and I appreciate that. A lot of these auto stops or auto fastening is not something I'm into. I'd like to just do it myself, but this one I really enjoyed. The one thing that I didn't enjoy about this that seemed to get in the way again for me was that you couldn't change modes or turn the light on and off with this button unless you had pulled the trigger. So you have to pull the trigger, then you're able to change a mode, and if you push and hold that button, it will turn the light off so that you don't have a light when you're pulling the trigger. There are 2 LEDs up there, and they can be bright in some situations. But if you could adjust this while the tool was off, I think it would make a little more sense rather than having to pull the trigger and having maybe 20 seconds to make that adjustment. Either way, this little guy impressed me. What I wanted to go from there and do is do a little bit of testing. It has a 3-year warranty, which is 2 years less than the Milwaukee, but I wanted to start to drop this a little bit, put it through some of the tests. We will not have this long term. So when you start dropping it and seeing it hit the floor, what's going to happen to it? And I dropped this, in some cases, through it quite a bit, and it bounced around a lot. The battery stayed connected, no issues with it, no real scuff marks, no cracks, nothing came apart, still worked just great. Now I do have one more test that I want to put this through, but we beat this thing up, throwing it up and down on the floor. So if you drop this tool, no issue. I think you could drop it from being on a ladder, zero issue at all. We're going to throw this through one last test and then come back. Now that is impressive. You can park an F350 on this with the rear tire, and you can see once we put it back in drive to pull off of it, it shot this unit out. Now the only damage that it did was scuff up a little bit of the rubber overmold which surrounds this tool completely. I will tell you that I'm overly impressed with the quality and durability of this tool. I mean, I was trying to bend it around. The battery in this case didn't even come off. From all the drop testing and from pulling a vehicle up on this in everything this went through, definitely something that's well built. I really like this. And other than the small issue with the forward and reverse, this is a tool that I'd have in my shop and I'd rely on for daily use. very nice little quality built tool. I really give Makita 2 thumbs up on that one. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel and give us a like on this video, and also follow us on social media. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.